Hello everybody and welcome to the MGL. This is an NFT draft league. Now you guys might be wondering where I've been for quite a while. Been pretty busy with life, all things considered. I haven't really had a whole lot of time to delve into the draft league content, but hopefully I can come back, make a little bit of recovery and stick to this, hopefully weekly from here on out, obviously with some, alteration in between, but as long as I have something going on, I will try to post at least once weekly. Now we're gonna do like a really quick team builder segment. This isn't gonna take very much time at all. I'm not gonna go into detail about the Pokemon, but I'm just gonna show why I'm excited to try out each Pokemon here. Hakamo-o is the main one. People who have watched my channel before know that I like Como-o quite a lot, and Hakamo-o is just baby Como-o. Figured I could give it a try. Now it's not quite as good as Como-o, I think, especially without Terra. It doesn't get any utility like Stealth Rocks or anything like that, so I still have to find a committal Pokemon to throw it on later, but it does get high power moves in close combat, Draco Meteor, Outrage, Earthquake, and it does get the setup required to support it with Dragon Dance, Swords Dance, and when it comes to bulky sets, I can do Bulk Up. Now I can't do like Iron Defense Body Press because unfortunately it does not get Body Press, which I kind of didn't remember, but that is fine. It still gets like Vacuum Wave, it still gets Taunt, it can still do some things that Komomo is capable of doing itself. Now this is a tier S Pokemon in this league, which means it's not able to hold an Eviolite, and speaking of the Eviolite, it's also limited to 2 per team in 2 per week. So for example, out of the Pokemon you see here, I can run an Eviolite on like Morgrem and Koffing, but Marshtomp is not able to hold a Eviolite, and neither is Poliwhirl. But yeah, I'm super excited about Hakamo-o. I wanted to give it a try, and so the rest of my Pokemon on this team are really kind of just built around Hakamo-o. Morgrem's an example where it gets really good utility moves and like Parting Shot, Light Screen, Reflect, and it has Prankster to make them priority. Obviously, it being able to hold a Light Clay means that another Pokemon is free to use an Eviolite. It doesn't have to hold it itself. But it also gets pretty good coverage moves. It gets like Bug, Fairy, Dark, obviously for Stab, Fighting, Water with Chilling Water technically. It gets fire moves and Burning Jealousy, so it has relatively okay coverage that it's maybe able to do some damage as well. One thing I'm really excited about is actually Nasty Plot sets, a set that I kind of wish Grimmsnarl was a little bit more capable of doing, but with Morgrem it's actually more of an intended use case because it doesn't get like Swords Dance, it doesn't get Bulk Up, and its attack is actually lower than its special attack in its middle stage. So hopefully it can do some stuff with like Nasty Plot, Dazzling Gleam, Dark Pulse, and Burning Jealousy as like a little bit of a sweeping set. Maybe if the team itself doesn't require all of that coverage, I can actually just like throw on Reflect and boost up Morgrem's bulk even more. I'm also super excited about Pickpocket because Eviolite is going to be so prevalent in this league. Being able to remove it easily will be really cool. Marshtomp is simple. I just wanted a Stealth Rock setter. I like Marshtomp. I wanted a bulky water. I was kind of stuck between Marshtomp and Duat. Unfortunately, Duat got stolen a little bit earlier in the draft, so I settled for Marshtomp, which I'm not mad about at all. It gets Earthquake, Liquidation, Ice Punch, like Low Kick for coverage. It's it's able to do traditional Swampert things. It can't do Flip Turn. It gets Mirror Coat and Counter, which is cool, but really it's just here to set up Stealth Rocks and maybe like yawn some Pokemon for whatnot. Rindo Berry is able to help out with like those Mirror Coat counter sets if I really need to deal with a grass type. But in case Marshtomp has a struggle with grass, grass types being 4 times weak to it and everything, you see Poliwhirl here, so I definitely have a little bit of a grass weakness, and both Hakamo and Morgrem are weak to Fairy. I picked up Koffing. Koffing seemed like a pretty solid Pokemon, especially because of neutralizing gas being so good in an NFE league. A lot of Pokemon are really reliant on their abilities being good. Think of like your Zvilas having Hustle just to do extra damage. You can just completely remove Hustle, remove Servine's Contrary and resist Leaf Storm, and start making Servine like always lower its special attack by -2. Koffing with an Eviolite is able to really boost up its special defenses to kind of like really high levels, so it has a lot of ability there to do some crazy things. It has decent coverage when it comes to an NFE league because a lot of Pokemon aren't quite as bulky, so I can do like Fire Blast and Thunderbolt. It gets Gunk Shot and Sludge Bomb for stab, which is pretty strong. Shadow Ball, Dark Pulse when I need to hit a ghost type for whatever reason. It gets Toxic Spikes, and Toxic Spikes are beyond broken in NFE because so many Pokemon are trying to be, you know, like a Violite bulky sets. If I can poison a Fracture before it's able to sweep me, I can kind of stop it right then and there. Even more likely, hopefully I can Will-O-Wisp a Fracture and could just completely neuter it, make it unable to do much of anything. Yeah, and that's why I wanted Koffing. Koffing was actually the first Pokemon I picked, so I'm excited to use Koffing. Poliwhirl, despite having Marshtomp, is really just here for the speed tier. 90 is really high. There's like, you know, there are Pokemon that are gonna outspeed Poliwhirl, but there's not a whole lot in ahead of it. So hopefully Poliwhirl speed tier can come into some use. It gets Encore, which is one of my favorite moves to use. It has a lot of fighting moves, not a lot of you know, good coverage, but it still gets like EQ, Ice Punch, Liquidation. But really, the reason I want to use Poliwhirl is to try and get some sweeps with Belly Drum. That would be exciting. I would really want to do that. It's able to hold in a Violite. It's really fast. Not a lot of Pokemon are going to outspeed it, so I can just click Belly Drum, boost my attack to an absurd amount of level, or to an absurd level, and just start killing things with like Liquidation, Ice Punch, and Earthquake. Really excited to use it. Carkol is my rapid spinner for the team. There's not actually another Pokemon that helps out with that, but it also has a really good coverage for like flying weaknesses. And it is another resist to Fairy as well. Its Fire Stab is good for dealing with grass types. Really, it's just here to set up rocks, spikes, spin them away from my side. Maybe do a little bit of damage here and there, and just be overall a relatively good bulky Pokemon that's able to burn guys, you know, maybe more efficiently than Koffing's able to. Doduo is just because flying seems really strong in this type of league. You look at Brave Bird, you look at Choice Scarf, and it's 85 base attack, which is pretty high. It's going to be doing some damage. Not a lot else to Doduo. Grookey is an odd choice because of Grassy Surge. It sounds odd because Poliwhirl, Marshtomp, Hakamo, their only ground coverage, like really good ground moves, are weakened by the grassy terrain. But having just priority Grassy Glide, and being able to boost its damage without, like, it doesn't need to hold in a Violate because more than likely it's just still not going to take a lot of hits. I can go to Choice Band, Woodhammer, and there are really not a lot of Pokemon that are going to live that hit. Even into stuff like Fletchinder, even if it's holding, like, typically not going to hold in a Violate because of heavy duty boots, Woodhammer can genuinely do like 25% to Fletchinder, which is like its typical switch. There's a lot of utility in Grookey. Being able to heal up my Pokemon to enable a sweep a little bit more easily is always nice. Also gets Knockoff. Knockoff is really good because of Violate is so common, and it's also one of my pivot Pokemon with U-Turn. Charjabug is another really good bulky Pokemon. It gets me Sticky Webs to enable sweeps, but it also is a slow pivot this time with Volt Switch, capable of, like, if I click Volt Switch on a Lampent coming out, Hakamo does quite well into Lampent because it resists the fire type moves, and it's immune to Shadow Ball because of Bulletproof. I can maybe pivot out into Hakamo, set up, maybe sweep from there. Charjabug doesn't do a whole lot else. It can do some damage with Wild Charge. It has pretty decent bug moves. I like Skitter Smack a lot because so many special attackers are going to want to switch into it. Its physical defense is its highest stat by far. You know, Skitter Smack lowers the special attack stat. There's a lot of viability in that. But it doesn't do a whole lot more. It's just really good at what it does. And then finally, my E-tier Pokemon is Gimmighoul. When I picked Gimmighoul initially, when I was thinking about it, there was no guarantee that I was going to get both of these. But being able to run both forms of Gimmighoul is nice. This is a bulky spin blocker. Bulky-ish, of course, its HP is quite low, but if I can invest into its HP in like one specific stat to enable it to spin block a little bit more easily, let's say like if somebody else had Carkol I feel like typically goes for its more specially offensive sets. I mean, if I do this, Carkol is really going to have a hard time breaking through Gimmighoul. But also, roaming form Gimmighoul has a pretty high speed stat. It's actually my second fastest Pokemon. I can run this in Shadow Ball because Shadow Ball is still pretty unresisted because it's ghost type coverage. I mean, the only ghost type Pokemon I can think of at the moment that's faster than it is, I think, dark type, that's faster than it is Murkrow. And Murkrow gets blasted by Power Gem as well. So there's some stuff that it can do right there. Ignore that. And then Nasty Plot, it can set up with Nasty Plot as well. So it's pretty fast. It can do Reflect and Light Screen. Both forms get both Nightshade, Hex, Shadow Ball, Power Gem, Terra Blast if needed for that, you know, random normal coverage. It has enough that maybe these Pokemon can like fulfill a niche despite them being in, I believe, F tier. They're pretty bad Pokemon at the tier list. But that is going to be my team. I hope you guys all enjoy the season, and let's get right back into the battle. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 1 of the MGL. This is an NFE league, not fully evolved Pokemon league. I'm very nervous. I haven't had a Pokemon battle in a very, very long time. If you're wondering why I was on such a large break, I had a bit of an issue with some life and put me on a little bit of a hiatus, but I should be back for at least a temporary amount of time. I'm very nervous. He has 2 water types. I kind of figured that Gokey was going to be good in this matchup. Fletchender's going to be annoying for sure. No Bayleaf means that Marshtomp is pretty solid in this game, though I do still have to worry about, I believe, Grass Knot from Duat. Grimer is kind of expected. Not a Pokemon here that I'm really like shocked to see. I'm glad to see no Tarantula, because that means I don't have to really worry about not having Rapid Spin on Carkol. And then Nova Room is kind of interesting, but kind of fine, I believe. I think Grookey's still a fine lead. If it's Dracloak, I can get an easy knockoff on it and remove whatever item it potentially has. If it's any water type, I can just go for knockoff, because I doubt they're going to stay in out of fear. I feel like it's pretty reasonable for them to be afraid of that. Very nervous. Very, very nervous. Mienfoo. Now, Mienfoo is, like, barely even a Pokemon that I'm, like, worried about. If it's in a Violate Mienfoo, it just drops to Woodhammer, because I'm adamant. Though I don't really see the need to be super afraid of that. It should be a speed tie, which means I could just go out into Koffing if I really want to do that. Kind of want to go for U-turn to see if it's Scarfed as well, because if it is a Choice Scarf Pokemon, then that's not that bad. Also, I can kind of go into Charjabug, I think, so. U-turn should do a solid, like, 14%. I really could go for Woodhammer, but I think I'm going to go for U-turn, expecting her to kind of switch out. Figure 8, who's that going to be? It's going to be Grimer. Let's get a bit of U-turn on the Grimer. That didn't do a whole lot of damage, so kind of makes me think that's definitely a Violate Grimer. I think Marshtomp is a totally fair play. If I go out into Marshtomp, his swap is kind of like, or sorry, I'm going to say he, because it's just what I immediately go to, but they are a she. I will try my best to do better on that. I really could just go out into Carkol. I could go out into Koffing and just kind of like deal with this. Honestly, that's not even a bad move. I think I am going to go out into Koffing and go for Will-O-Wisp. I get to do Neutralizing Gas, which I don't believe stops too much. I think maybe if anything, it just stops like Sticky Hold. But it lets them know that I'm not immune to ground moves, I guess. So I'm just going to go for the Will-O-Wisp. They don't have a Pokemon that's necessarily immune to this, and they're just going to let it get burned. That's awesome. I'm kind of expecting Knockoff. If I see Knockoff, I'm going to go for Thief. I'm okay with my Violet getting removed. That's totally fine. I want to remove this thing's potential of Violate as well, which I do believe it has. But I'm also at a point where I don't really mind anything that he could go for. So we're going to go for Thief, and we're going to try and take this item. If he were to swap out into like Fletchender, I take Heavy Duty Boots, which enables Stealth Rocks. On my end, he doesn't have any hazards at all. She doesn't have any hazards at all. They could go out into Dracloak, and Dracloak takes a decent amount from Thief. If they stay in, again, I believe I take a Violate. They are going to swap, so who are they going to go out into? Dracloak would be cool. Decode, that's once again Mienfoo. I get to see if this is Scarf. Do I take a Choice Scarf from this? Mirror Herb, interesting. they were expecting Groddle. I understand. Okay, that's fine. I kind of want to Will-O-Wisp on this as well. I'd like to burn this. I can't imagine. I don't believe it's capable of really doing anything to me. Mienfoo with Grimer. Not Grimer, Koffing. I mean, yeah, it can't really do a whole lot. It can try and knock off me again. It could go for close combat. It could go for U-turn. There's a universe where I just click T-Bolt because it does pretty well into everything. I kind of want to do that because T-Bolt also hits this for like 25%. I'm really not afraid that anything this thing can go physically, so let's just do T-Bolt. See a U-turn. Take very little damage. If he goes out into, she goes out into Fletchinder, Duwa, and Meryl, they take super effective damage, which is awesome. I don't imagine they go out into Cloak. Not here. Pool, that sounds like Meryl or Duwat. Duwat, awesome. Go for a T-Bolt. Very solid damage. Incredibly solid damage. That's actually a 2-hit KO. I can't think of a single thing this thing is able to do to kill me. Not in one hit, at least. Well, if it's a Choice Specs Duwat, it does kill me. So I could swap here into maybe Marshtomp. That is a really powerful hit. I could go out into Grookey on a potential Ice Beam. But that doesn't really solve anything. They still get to go out into Fletchinder afterwards. Marshtomp is solid in this game for Dracloak. Charjabug is equally decent. And if they go for a special attack with Charjabug, what happens? If it's Choice Specs, Charjabug actually eats that reasonably well. So I think I'm going to go out into Charjabug. They are going to swap. That's awesome. They're going to go out into the Misguided Ghost, which is definitely Dracloak. I'm going to T-Wave this Dracloak for sure. For sure, I'm going to T-Wave this. Shrapnel. Grass is removed. That's totally fine. I would really like to paralyze this, so please stay in. Maybe go for like a Choice Specs Draco Meteor, something like that. If they stay in for any reason, even like a Fire Blast absolutely does not kill me. They're going to go for U-turn. That's totally fine. Playing a bit of a pivot game they are. Really, my goal here is kind of just to put myself in a position where Morgrem can take over. What would they go out into? Grimer still doesn't really solve anything. Because if they go into Grimer, I just go right back out into Koffing, and I don't even stress it. Obviously, Duwa is not like an amazing check to Grimer. Or to Koffing. Wow, I'm gonna get everything mixed up. It's been so long since I've done any Pokemon battles. That's gonna be Grimer. That's totally fine. I believe my Charjabug should be faster than Grimer. So I can get a Volt Switch off, probably. But also, if it's... yeah, I think I just go for Volt Switch. Sticky Web isn't even necessary, I don't think. So yeah, let's just go for Volt Switch and get out of here. There's a chance that he or she goes out into another Pokemon because Koffing is just so free. Yeah, they do switch. I'm gonna go for Volt Switch, so that's gonna be pretty decent damage here. Decode, that is once again Mienfoo. That's totally fine. I know this isn't fast, so I can kind of go out into Morgrem here and actually get a Dazzling Gleam off. Potentially get some damage. I also know that Performapal is 100% faster than this, and I could go out into that, go for Facade maybe. I don't believe that's capable of killing Mienfoo. No, probably not. Koffing is very free once again, and I could do that and go for Will-O-Wisp or something like that, but I kind of want to paralyze other Pokemon. So I think it is my time to go out into Morgrem. Morgrem should once again be 100% faster than Mienfoo, and I can get a little bit of chip onto... wow, I could go out into Grookey again. Grookey Woodhammer completely smashes everything, even Dracloak, probably. Dracloak does not switch into Woodhammer very easily. Yeah, let's just go out into Grookey. I think that's fine. This doesn't have an item, so I know I'm faster than it. They might think it's a speed tie, though. Get my Grassy Surge back up. I could go for Woodhammer, I could go for U-turn. If I go for U-turn, it gets a little bit of chip and lets me get back into Koffing, which is totally fine. They have U-turn of their own, though, more than likely. I did see U-turn already, I believe, so... I think I might go for Woodhammer here and try and get rid of this. They are going to swap, though. Okay, they're probably going into Fletchender here. If they go out into Grimer, this is you first, so Fletchender, yes. Fletchender, let's see if this is Easy Light. It's absolutely not a Violite. In fact, that makes me think it's pretty frail, all things considered, as well. So that was a decent chip, and then I can go out into Carkol pretty freely. Their best move is to, like, quick pit it out. They probably don't want to go for U-turn or anything, because that makes me think that Morgrem does very good damage into them, because I don't think it's a Violite at all. Reform Pal's obviously going to switch. I think it's pretty fair to say that she should obviously go for the U-turn, but that will get Rocky Helmet damage out from Carkol. That's totally fine. Awesome. Extra chip is always great. It's actually going to put it in a position where it can't even swap into Woodhammer anymore. So Grookey's actually in a really solid position here. It's very fair to say they're probably going out into like Meryl with Dewott. If they go out into Meryl, I should absolutely outspeed this with my Carkol set, because my Carkol is actually relatively fast. Hell, even Dewott, if they're not invested with Dewott at all for speed, which I believe they are, I mean, they took so much damage from that Thunderbolt. Yeah, that's definitely not HP invested. I could go out into Marshtomp. Marshtomp shouldn't take too much damage from anything they want to go for here. Well, that's not necessarily true either. They do quite a decent amount of damage. There's no way. I could go out yet again into Charger Bug, I think. Charger Bug should do very, very well into this defensively. So yeah, let's just do Charge Bug once again. If they go for knockoff, that's fine, but at least I know at that point it's physical. I think they'd probably go for Liquidation, though. Liquidation shouldn't do anything. Knockoff. Okay, I know it's a physical Dewott at least, so that means Koffing will do pretty decent into it now. I could go for T-Wave. They're probably going to go out into Grimer, though. I think I just want to go for Volt Switch, slow Volt Switch. I think it's pretty fair for them to swap here, but I don't know what they would go into. Fletchender and Meryl are not options. They still probably take way too much damage. Grimer is getting whittled down slowly. They are going to withdraw. Dracloak, they could go into that, but they saw T-Wave, so why would they want to do that? Yeah, they're going to go back out into Grimer. Grimer's going to take a little bit of chip here, and then I can actually go out into Marshtomp here. And while Marshtomp isn't necessarily a great Pokemon, actually I can go out into Koffing. Why would I not go out into Koffing? They can't. I guess they could go for knockoff. I could go out into Carkol again and go for Power Gem. Put this thing on more of a timer as well. But I don't want to do that just yet. Could go out into Koffing. Maybe I go Marshtomp, bait in another Pokemon, and then swap out into Carkol or Koffing. Maybe drop yeah, get rid of the knockoff or the mirror herb, because that's not really helping me at all. Let's see though, Marshtomp, even in grassy terrain, does quite a bit of damage to Grimer. It's a Violate, I know that now, because it's just not taking any damage. It would take around 40%, so that's enough damage to actually put it into range of Morgrem, if I'm not mistaken. +2 Dazzling Gleam from Morgrem does around 35. Could go for Waterfall here. Waterfall isn't really resisted by anything super well. If they go out into Fletchender, yeah, I think let's just go for Waterfall here, actually. I'm okay with it removing an Assault Vest. Okay, it is going to swap. Is it Fletchender? It's not. It's going to be Meryl? Meryl, okay. That's not a Violate. You know that. Well, is it? That did nothing. It could be bulky. Meryl, no, that did around like 20%. I could see that just being like max HP, max defense, maybe. I don't know. I think I go for Earthquake here though. I absolutely outspeed this. And then hopefully outside of Grassy Terrain, I absolutely take it out of Belly Drum range. It's fast, so it's Choice Scarf. Or it's just max speed. It's gonna hurt. Yeah, that's fine. So it's fast-ish. It has at least speed investment. Do I have anything faster than 136? I do, obviously. Maybe I just let this go down. That did around half, a little over half. And while Marshtomp is solid, it's not like a needed Pokemon. Not in this matchup. I could have gone for counter there, and that would have definitely done more damage, but I just never would have expected it to outspeed. Wow, that did a lot of damage. Does Charge Bug take less damage from the Liquidation from Meryl? 22.7%, so around 30 something I would take. Marshtomp does take that normally, so yeah, let's just go into Charge Bug. I should probably take around 30% with Charge Bug, now that my Violate's gone, and I can definitely live that. Oh, that did 0. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. I could go for Volt Switch or T-Wave here on... Well, they're probably going to go out into Grimer again. I might just go for Volt Switch. Volt Switch can kill Meryl if they decide to stay in. And then it does more damage to Grimer if they decide to go to Grimer. Probably enough damage to put it into more of like a liquidation range. I don't know. Charjabug is doing an insane amount of work here. It's actually living hits even without a Violate, like very, very well it's living hits. If they pivot out into Dracloak, I can probably just go out into Morgrim right away. So I probably do got to scout for T-Wave. No, I probably go out into Marshtomp if I see Dracloak. Go into Clay Rose. That's not going to do as much. Or it's going to do more, but it's fine. Volt Switch is going to take out Meryl. Now they are going to get the pivot momentum, but I believe I go out into Marshtomp here. Mienfoo is strong, but it's not huge power Meryl strong. Could be. Maybe it is. Maybe it is huge power Meryl strong. Maybe I go out into Gokey. And then I bait the Choice Scarf. Fletchender's getting into range. Definitely soon, where it's not going to be able to tank hits from Morgrim anymore. Maybe I can on Duat, see if I outspeed it with Karkle as well. I don't think I do. There's no way. No way. Unless it's just not max attack. It's like max... Or not max HP. It's like max attack, max special attack being a mixed attacker would be very strange. So probably not that. I mean, they're not going out into Duat here. If they go out into Fletchender, I'd rather not get burned, is the only thing. I don't believe I have Stealth Rocks up quite yet. Maybe on... That's once again... Okay, it is Fletchender. Maybe I go Marshtomp, because Marshtomp is already weak. If I go out into Charjabug on Duat, can it live a hit still? Yeah, easily 30%. It would do maybe not easily. That's probably not the correct choice of words. I'm at 87 life. If it's max attack adamant, it does kill me around 50% of the time probably. Marshtomp is still solid. No, I go out with Karkle. Karkle's so safe. And any U-turn that they decide to go for trying to kill Gokey isn't gonna amount to much. If you go for U-turn, they're gonna get that Rocky Helmet chip. That didn't appear. to be a Violet Meryl? I don't believe so anyways. I'm gonna go out into Pool the Duat. The Dewat. I mean, I think I sack with, I think I sack off Charge Bug here. So, yeah, I think Carkol is still a little too good to just throw away. You can still live a hit from the Yenfu. I don't know. It's solid, but it's not. I need to get rocks up. That's probably the relevant part. You are still solid for Fletchinder. Charge-a-Bug, yeah, you probably gotta go, unfortunately. If they go for a Swords Dance, that is kind of hard stuff. Oh, it's Ice Beam, okay. It takes me out, awesome. Awesome. This is not a Violet. It's absolutely not a Violet. I don't think it's max HP. It's special. I mean, I think I go out into Koffing and just go for T-Bolt. Could go out into Marshtomp, but Marshtomp probably doesn't tank this super well. I saw Knockoff. That's the only thing I've seen. So if it's Ice Beam, it's probably... Does Duat not learn any ice coverage aside from Ice Beam? It learns Avalanche, but yeah, that's probably not the move to go for. I think I go out to Gokey. Gokey Woodhammer and just smash some guys. Again, I don't think Dracloak is really a pivot. So let's just go for Woodhammer. Dracloak could be a pivot if it's a Violet, but even then, Dracloak still takes like 37% or something from Gokey. If it's not, it outright dies in 2 hits. Just takes too much. You first, that's Fletchinder. Fletchinder does not take 2 Woodhammers anymore, and I don't believe Woodhammer even makes contact. Ooh, it didn't even take 1. Is that a crit? That was a big crit, because that means that they don't get any information about my Gokey set. And that's arguably not good, because they probably just go out into Dracloak here. If they go out into Dracloak, does Dracloak learn Dragon Dance? Does. And that's potentially scary. It doesn't really learn any great dragon moves though. It does learn Outrage, which I have Morgrim for. It doesn't have any good ghost moves. It's probably special. Dracloak absolutely kills my Gokey though. Because Gokey has no bulk, not in this metagame. If they go for Shadow Ball, I guess, and they're not specs, then Shadow Ball does not kill. This Guided Ghost, that is Dracloak. Dracloak, I think I'm okay with them just killing. How many more turns of Grassy Terrain do I have? This is my last turn, so I do have to switch. I think I potentially go out into Carkol. Can Carkol learn or live 2 Shadow Balls? Oh yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely it can. It can actually live 2 Draco Meteors as well. So maybe I go out into Carkol. I think Koffing, yeah, Koffing is still valuable. I think I go out to Carkol. Don't believe it. Did I misclick? I don't think I did. I'm nervous now. Okay, no, I went into Carkol, Speedwagon, on the U-turn for the Rocky Helmet chip, which is awesome. On what? They're special. Ooh, I got the Flame Body Burn on Dracloak as well. That's awesome. Daywat dies. And I killed Fletchinder now. I don't really need Stealth Rocks. I was already planning on kind of sacking Carkol here. If they go out into Mienfu, no, okay, they go back out into the Daywat. That's fine. Now they are absolutely faster than me. Do I play for differential? They go for Ice Beam, they would kill this. If they go for Ice Beam on... If they're special, Marshtomp eats a hit. Very well it does. I guess actually not that well does it eat a hit. It still takes 127 from a Surf from Duat. which is kind of insane. Do I just let this go down? Yeah, I mean, it's okay for Grimer, I guess, but I think I just go for Power Gem. Yeah, Power Gem to get some damage. I'm outsped though, and away goes Speedwagon. The Carnival. I go back out into Gokey. Gokey Woodhammer on everybody probably does work. No, I don't think they swap here at all. I don't believe so. So, Woodhammer, I should take out the Duwat. Still got Koffing for Grimer. Grimer's like just such a non-issue. Woodhammer's absolutely taking out Duwat. They go out into Grimer. It still does take damage, like I said earlier. It's around 30%. And it's been chipped down slowly, so there's a chance that Woodhammer actually just takes it out. They swap. They got into who? Dracloak? Nope, back out into Grimer. Grimer's not that frail, or not that weak. But Woodhammer, let's see how much damage you do. That is 0 damage. Awesome. I think I go out to Marshtomp on a knockoff or something. Surely I live. And then I just go for Earthquake. There's nothing to resist it anymore. Marshtomp is a attack from Grimer. More often than not. Could go out into this on a Poison Jab or something and then like T-Bolt over and over. But I think we probably just go out to Marshtomp. Even if they hard pivot, their only hard pivot that would really matter would probably be Mienfoo. I think, is Mienfoo still around? I think so. I think all they have right now is Dracloak, Duwat, and Grimer. Oh, maybe they do have Mienfoo. Has this been a slower game than I've anticipated? Like, than I really, like, remember? Why do I want to say I've taken out Mienfoo already? I must be insane. Gokey! Get out of there, Gokey. So obviously I pivot out first into Marshtomp. Grimer does swap out as well. They probably got to go out into Mienfoo. The Dracloak. Okay. If this is special, that's totally fine. I believe I go for Earthquake. Grassy Terrain is up though. How much does Dracloak take from Ice Punch? Around 60%. And I'm healing, so I can go for Ice Punch here. More than likely this is special. Its physical move pool is just so poor. If it is physical, then it has to go kind of for Dragon Dance. I believe it's also burned. If it's not physical, or if it is physical, this thing is kind of a non-issue. But to kill me, okay, I'm going for Ice Punch, so I mean they could probably go out into Duwat. I've seen Surf and Ice Beam, so I know it's special. So I can get damage on Duwat. Not a lot. It's like 20% damage from Earthquake, and then... Okay, they do go into Duwat. That's a good switch. Definitely a good switch. Ice Punch does very little damage. I know it's not a Violite, though, so Earthquake should still take a little bit of damage off of this thing. Around 30%, I'm gonna guess. So let's go for Earthquake. I absolutely love a Surf. I think they'd have to go for Hydro Pump if they want to kill me. Which I don't even think does. They'd have to crit probably, or have like Mystic Water or something. I guess this could be Scarfed. I don't believe I've seen it swap moves yet. Grookey's Scarfed as well. Can Chargeable, or is Gokey outsped by this? If it's like max speed? Oh, the knockoff. Gets me down to 114. Earthquake is gonna do 35% roughly. I can go for Earthquake again. I don't really gotta stress it. So my Gokey is outsped if this is not... Oh, okay, so it's not Scarf. Awesome. That's fine. They did have Grass Knot. I don't think Grass Knot killed, though. Not through... into Marshtomp. I might have. It probably did. In the grassy terrain? Oh yeah, absolutely, it killed me. So that was a good Earthquake by me. Grassy terrain is gone. I could go out into this and click Dazzling Gleam, but I don't know if that's enough. Grimer took nothing earlier. How much does Morgrim take from Dewott? Surf is doing a tremendous amount of damage. Around like 75% it's probably hitting me for. I think I just go out into Grookey again though. There's not really a reason for me not to. If I go out into Grookey, then I can probably click U-turn on Dewott to get it into range. Yeah, into Dewott it does like 28%, so I can definitely go for U-turn here. If they stay in, which I don't think they will, they probably go out into Grimer. And Grimer's burned, so I can probably just go out into Morgrim. Set up a Reflect, set up a Nasty Plot, go to work. Because Grimer is burned, so it does not do nearly as much damage as it once did. In fact, into... Yeah, he pivots, or she pivots, into my Morgrim with the Grassy Terrain up. It does around 37.4%. Oh, I absolutely just go into Morgrim here. Awesome. Into Morgrim, get the boost. It's not Choice Scarf, so this is absolutely dead to a Dazzling Gleam. I don't believe they can go out to Grimer successfully. I don't believe so. It would still take around 20% to a Dazzling Gleam. I can go for a Reflect. I can go for a Nasty Plot, take its Violate. It would do 0 damage to me at all. It would do like 20% per Poison Jab. If it has Gunk Shot, I guess it could. It does around 28% with a Gunk Shot. And that's assuming it doesn't have any investment, which I don't think it does because it looked like it was physically invested, actually. Now I am technically on the back foot, but I have 2 Pokemon status. This is a dead Morgrim. It's fine. Did they go out to Grimer? If they go out to Grimer, that's totally fine by me. Honestly, I don't even really need to go for a Reflect. I could probably go for Nasty Plot. There's not really a reason for me not to go for Reflect, though, huh? Yeah, let's go for Reflect. Let's get my defense. That did 0 damage earlier with the Wood Hammer, so I do think this is physically invested. Rest is totally fine by me. Okay. I think that's totally fine. Is it Chesto? There's no way it's Chesto. Going for Nasty Plot. More room. At +2 into this of Violate Grimer. Could do damage. Knock off. Awesome. Take your Violate. Couldn't ask for anything better. So I am now +2. You do not have enough Violate anymore. I don't need to go any further, so let's just click off Dazzling Gleam. I mean, I could go for Nasty Plot one more time, but there's no point. I'm just gonna go for Dazzling Gleam. I think that's GG, because I am both behind a Reflect, I have enough Violate, I've took no damage, and I have a +1 from Grassy Seed. This Pokemon is doing absolutely 0 damage to me. Even if they manage to get their Gunk Shot, I don't think there's anything that they can do. It's no longer burned, so I mean, it's still doing a fair amount of damage, but Gunk Shot from an Afflict to a +1, a Violate Morgrim, it does around 38% on a max roll. So pretty favorable. Dazzling Gleam does a tremendous amount of damage. If they don't get their right attack with Sleep Talk, they also just don't do anything there. Yeah, they just get knocked off again, so I think that's GG's. GG's to Gunk for sure. Ooh, Poison Touch. I don't think that matters. I don't think that matters at all. That's fine. They do get rid of my Violate, which is unfortunate, but I still don't think it matters. I believe I outpace. I outpace Duat, and I don't think Dracloak will be able to kill me. I guess that knockoff is actually kind of unfortunate in this turn, but I think it's fine. Dazzling Gleam gets their final kill. If they didn't get the poison there, it probably didn't really matter. I think Dracloak has to be Specs, and then they would also have to click like Hydro Pump and manage to hit, and probably hit a high roll as well. I've seen Knockoff, Grass Knot, Ice Beam, and Surf from Duat, so I know there's nothing it can do to hit me, so they're gonna have to go out into Dracloak here. If they don't go out into Dracloak, I know I have Coughing, and I have, I believe still Grookey left, and Grookey's Choice Scarf with Knockoff, so I do believe this is checkmate. That's fine. I mean, something dies here. Pool, yeah, Duat is super dead. They can go out into the Dracloak, but it has to be Specs. And then it has to hit Hydro Pump. It would also need to hit the range, so there's a lot of reasons why this is not really going to be a good turn for them if they fail to hit the range. They do around 32%. They have a 32% chance to OHKO with Hydro Pump, assuming it's both Modest and Choice Specs. So let's go for Dazzling Gleam and see what happens. You're going to go for U-turn to kill. Ooh, I took their Scarf. Well, I'm faster than the Dracloak now, so it is absolutely GG's. They were Scarfed, so they had no way of killing me. And I'm just going for Dazzling Gleam, so to me it doesn't really matter at all. So let's kill the Grimer with Morgrim. And finally they'll go out into Dracloak. I'll click my Dazzling Gleam. And now that I'm Choice Scarfed, I will outpace it and kill it with the Dazzling Gleam. Awesome. This is a very, I don't know. It's proven to me that I still am being pretty forgetful about a few things. And I can definitely still play better, but it shows that I am still capable of playing very well. Because there's very few things that I think I did wrong here. And my team building was very good as well. So I'm pretty proud of this first game. 3-0 against the league owner. So pretty decent in my opinion. GG's to Gunk. I hope they had a good time battling me. I hope I didn't do anything that was too irritating or angering. My team was pretty bulky, so I could see that being annoying. And I took both of their violates. So that's totally fine. GG's to Gunk. I hope they have a great rest of their league, and thank you for joining, or thank you for letting me join. And thank you all for watching today's video. Hopefully I'll be back next week. And I will see you all later. Bye-bye. Have a great rest of your day.